it's the money. Here's the front page of the Chicago Sun-Times, December 20th, 1992. $7 billion addiction, the drug trade in the city of Chicago and suburbs, and it's gotten to be bigger. The drug trade in the city and the suburbs, 20,000 workers employed, 400,000 customers, 70% of the people in jail there for drug crimes. Consensual drug crimes. Exhibit C that the drug war doesn't work. Here, some drug dealer came from Mexico to the United States, and he gets arrested here, knew he's a drug dealer, so then they go down there to do a search at home to see what they could find in the guy's house. They find $207 million. 2 tons of $100 bills. It reminds me of the old Scrooge cartoons where the guy's rolling around in the dough. Well, this is 2/3 of the bedroom, waist deep in $100 bills. You know how hard it is to get that much money under the mattress? I mean, you have to laugh, right? You have to laugh, because if you took it too seriously, you'd get so depressed, you need medical marijuana. All right, so now we have tried lots of things in this war on drugs. We have tried, let's hire 100,000 more policemen. Clinton said we've got so much crime, let's hire 100,000. Well, when you hire the 100,000, now you got 100,000 people that are in favor of the war on drugs. I don't care how much harm it does. Okay, so that didn't work. We outlawed drugs, that didn't work. We got tough and cracked down on sentencing. We built prisons till they're coming out of our ears. 22,000 people in this state, twice as many as Minnesota, and you're spending twice as much money as they're spending in Minnesota. Are the people of Wisconsin twice as bad as the people in Minnesota? I doubt it. Even when I'm here. Okay, so then we say, well, let's do drug testing. We'll have every kid, if you're going to go out for basketball, baseball, we'll have them drug tested. And we'll let parents buy drug testing kits. When the kid's sleeping in the bed, we can snip their hair with a kit you can get from Walgreens to find out whether or not the kid's using drugs. Trouble is that when they test for drugs, they're talking about itsy-bitsy little bits of parts of drugs called nanograms, 1/1,000,000th of a gram. 90% of the United States currency has drugs on it when tested, because of the money circulating so many times through drug dealers' hands. So a kid could have paid for his McDonald's hamburger and end up touching this stuff, and then he gets tested, and so you can end up with false positives. So now you got some kid who hasn't ever done anything wrong. You have no reason to suspect the kid's bad, except for one of these dippy drug tests. Now in Chicago right now, we have a couple of Catholic schools that are talking about making it mandatory for every kid, regardless of whether they go out for sports. How horrendous. So we put cameras in the public way. We put DARE officers in the school to open up the briefcase and to say, this baggie here, this is marijuana. When you open it up, smell that? Pungent. The pungent aroma of marijuana. Never heard the word pungent in my life until I heard a drug speech by a DARE officer. This is the needle. This is where you stick it. This little baggie. This is heroin. White powder. In Chicago Ridge in southwest Cook County, the chief of police had his officers ask when kids are arrested, where did you learn about drugs? The kids repeatedly, they said, we learned about it in DARE. Well, the mayor and the chief and the trustees from that town said, well, this is doing exactly the opposite of what we want. They kicked DARE out of school. Out of the community and the school. We should kick DARE out of the United States entirely. All the way into the ocean would be good. They do so much harm. Then we thought, well, let's put these anti-drug ads on TV. That'd be good, right? Well, it's like, first and foremost, when you put an advertisement on TV that says, don't do something, whether it's about cigarettes, booze, or drugs, first and foremost, it's an ad for that substance. Doesn't matter whether you say do it or don't do it. It's an advertisement for what you're talking about. So that's in part how we have turned this drug war. I used to be against the taxation of marijuana and drugs and so forth because I said to myself, we're going to create a new drug sin, a new sin tax. Like we have the tax on alcohol, we have the tax on cigarettes, and government becomes used to it. We have a tax on gambling, right? So government ends up used to the money, and once you got the thing in place, you can never get rid of it. Well, now we've made things so bad with this advertising of anti-drug use that we have put drugs everywhere. We've got addiction problems everywhere. So that the problem has become so big, I don't think we can say not taxing anymore. So I've kind of modified my view on the need to do that, unfortunately. We put the drug wars, or drug dogs. We got radar balloons, $2 million a copy in the Caribbean. We decide, well, we'll certify what nations are cooperating and which ones aren't. And if you're not cooperating, you're not going to get our federal aid, and we're going to make life miserable for you. So ABCs of drug sin are the uncooperative countries, which is Afghanistan, Bolivia, Colombia, Syria, Iran, Nigeria. Then we say, well, let's keep the prices of drugs so high as a national strategy that these guys can't make any money. Didn't work on that. $207 million did it. But the idea was we'll keep the price and the cost of the business so high that they can't make any money. Well, if you take an economics 101, what happens when you increase the price of something? You increase the supply, right? Because the higher the price, the more I'm willing to make, and the more the hoops I'm willing to jump through to do it. So this rationale of the National Drug Office, National Drug Control Policy Office, which is our drugs czar office, that strategy to keep the price high, the more it succeeds in keeping the price high, the worse the drug problem becomes. We tried interdiction, eradication, crop substitution, foreign policy. We'll spray the countries with poison to kill the crops in Colombia. Now we're going to do it in Mexico. And did it work? Of course, none of these things work. Well, we'll build a fence. Well, you build a fence here. I mean, it costs a lot to build a fence, and the China wall didn't keep people out of one side or the other. You know, and then if you get the fence in pretty good, well, we'll tunnel under it. We'll go around it. We'll back the carrier with the cars up to the fence. We'll drop the 2 legs down on the other side, and the car with the drugs should just roll off the other side. We'll drop it in by airplane. We'll hide the cocaine inside concrete fence posts. One of the best smuggling programs we ever had in the United States to get cocaine in. How are you going to find out that there's cocaine inside the concrete fence post? Let me see your smelling dog and see what he can smell. I mean, the ingenuity of man can figure out a way to get over the wall, under the wall, around the wall, and if that doesn't work, we'll pay him, right? And then as they do in Mexico, do you want the money or the lead? So the choice even becomes more harsh than just bribery. I mean, it's just a corrupting influence. This kid who's in jail gets caught with the 3 controlled drug sales, and the drug cop comes up and he said, listen, kid, I got you in 3 controlled sales. Your something is mine. And if you want help, today is the chance to get it. Now, are you going to tell me who sold you these drugs? I don't care if he's your brother, your friend, your high school buddy, what you grew up with. Are you going to wear the wire? Are you going to help me get this guy? And so what have we basically done to this kid? We've taken the last bit of human decency out of him and said, forget the golden rule. Forget worrying about the other guy. Sacrifice your friend to save yourself. And we wonder why there's no moral fabric in this country anymore. So, anyway, all of these, I mean, one program is more stupid than another. There was a congressman from Indiana who came up with the idea, let's sell drug war bonds. Like they did during World War II. I mean, and then local law enforcement. And when they seize your car, when they seize your house, when they seize your farm, when they seize your speedboat, because it was used in some fashion in the drug business, or the proceeds from the drug business bought this asset, they get to forfeit the asset. And who gets it? Half goes to local law enforcement, half goes to the feds if they participated. Actually, it's more complicated formula than that, but basically it's going to local law enforcement and to the feds. So now in suburban Cook County, we have a town, Palos Heights. has virtually no